What would you prefer?
I would prefer to keep it the way it is between us. I pull no punches. I'm honest with you. I'm guilty.
You have your license now?
I just have to take the driver's
All
test.
right, all the more reason to adjourn this. So they wouldn't used to let you get a driver's license when you had unpaid tickets, which frankly I agree
I had
with.
to pay a fine for it.
What?
I had to pay a fine for it.
And we'll start with Miss Price, a woman with 60 plus court cases now facing jail for stealing Coke and clothes.
Okay.
All right, so good afternoon, Miss Price. I haven't seen you in a while. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here with Ross Truckee on behalf of the public defenders. He just advised me that Judge Pattison saw you a little bit ago, probation violation. This is an old warrant from 2025 from February. It alleges that on or about February 7th, you committed a retail fraud in the second degree, which is a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. They allege that on or about February 7th, you were at the Walmart store and stole stuff worth less than $200, but you had a previous offense. So let's take a look at the affidavit. The allegation is that you took a pack of Coca-Cola and a resin filter, $51.63. Not much. And then they found a bunch of items of clothing in your packaging. So I'm not sure how much it actually was. Anyway, that's the allegation, Ms. Price. As I said, it's a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. How did you come to get arrested last night?
We were pulled over at traffic stop
Where did you get pulled over?
in Three Rivers.
And they found a warrant?
Well, I've known there was warrant, but they said that you weren't taking anyone because of construction or something. So we're just kind of waiting for you to open back up to start taking people, I guess. I don't know.
Where were you when you got pulled over?
Right on Michigan Avenue.
Okay. At some point, something said you were living on Gearhart Landing Road. Then it said you were living on Bennett Street. Do you have an address?
Well, here is my daughter's, and then I've been trying to take care of my medical, so I went up to Kalamazoo and I've been staying at the YWCA there and participating in a domestic violence women's class. And I've been trying to make it back and forth, but not doing a very good job of it to report and whatnot.
Who were you with last night?
It's just a roommate. It was at 210 Bennett Street. He owns a house there.
Who's that guy?
His name is Kerry Dearduff. He's the landlord.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of cases with him recently where he's evicting people out of there. I thought that was the house. Well, Ms. Price, you can plead guilty to this charge if you wish to, and I would sentence you. You could also plead not guilty, and I take no offense, and I can appoint an attorney to represent you. Set it for further proceedings. What would you prefer?
I would prefer to keep it the way it is between us. I pull no punches. I'm honest with you. I'm guilty. So I'd like to plead guilty.
I've known you for about 40 years, and I was looking at this. You've got more than 60 entries in our system. You and I go back a long time, and you've had health problems here for a number of years. All right. Did anyone threaten you to get you to plead to that misdemeanor charge?
No.
All right. Do you understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will not be a trial. Do you understand that?
I do.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Truckee is here to make sure we follow the proper procedure and your rights are protected. But if you wanted an attorney, we could appoint one for just you alone. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses, for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf. But you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury cannot hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent, unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Were you in the Walmart store in February?
Yes, I was.
And did you take these weird items, Coca-Cola and some resin stuff,
Yes, I did.
and some clothing in your purse?
Yes,
Where have you been since February?
at the women's shelter, YWCA.
Now, you knew there were warrants for you. I think you may have even called in. I'm not sure,
Yes.
but
They wouldn't take me.
are you on Social Security disability?
I am.
All right. Are you still receiving medical treatment? If you're in jail for more than 30 days, you're gonna lose your Social Security. I'm gonna track this with Judge Patterson's case. When did you get arrested? Last night?
Yes.
All right, that's what I saw. All right, I'm gonna order 30 days, credit 1, leaving 29 days to serve, concurrent with Judge Patterson's case, which is 241106FY. That's a failed probation. Fine is 0. I'm gonna waive and reserve on restitution. I'm gonna order the minimum $125 state crime victims' rights fee and state minimum fee, which comes to $125 or 2 days in jail. I'm not sure that house on Bennett Street is the best place for you to be, but you gotta be somewhere.
Well, I'm hoping that this time you give me will give me time to give me some desire to live. Because my quality of life deteriorated so much that I have no desire to participate in life.
Yes. I've watched your decline. You did rally a little bit. I don't want to talk about your medical situation here on the live record, but I know you've been struggling. I throw in some other substance abuse issues and it really takes its toll. But I don't want you to lose your Social Security disability. I reserved on restitution. You're barred from Walmart for 1 year. I think most of the property was actually recovered, so I don't think there's any restitution, but I reserved on it. All right, you're gonna do about the next 26 or 27 days in jail. Hopefully that will be out in time that you won't lose your disability because it's very hard to reinstate it.
Yes, thank you.
But that probation didn't work well and you've got a bunch of unpaid stuff. Oh, that's the wrong defendant. You got some other unpaid driving suspended and traffic tickets, but I'm not gonna worry about those right now.
Thank you.
All right, you're free to go. Good luck.
I'd encourage you to contact the jail mental health liaison while you're there, Angie.
I have, thank you.
Thank you.
This time, it's Miss Schwitzer who ignored a warrant for retail fraud, only to turn herself in months later while still owing hundreds in unpaid fines.
Good afternoon, Ms. Schweitzer. This is Judge Middleton. Can you hear me?
Yes,
And you're Shauna Michelle Schweitzer.
yes.
Also here on the screen with me is Mr. Ross Truck. He's with the Public Defender's Office and he's here today also.
Okay.
Your case, you got picked up on an old warrant from 2024 for retail fraud 2nd degree. It's alleged that on August 25th, you were at the Meyer store for a change of pace and you stole property worth more than 200 but less than 1,000. Allegation is that you stole $442 worth of stuff in your backpack. And I think they actually stopped you and recovered all the property. Anyway, that is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. I think you knew there was a warrant and had called, but never actually came in to take care of it. How did you get arrested last night?
I turned myself in.
At the jail?
Yeah, at 3 Rivers.
At 3 Rivers PD?
Yes.
You live in Sturgis still?
Yeah, that's,
So you just drove over to 3 Rivers and said, here I am?
no, I was in 3 Rivers last night.
All right, so you went to the police department or they pulled you over or something?
I went to the police department.
Okay, well, all right. Well, here are your options. Mr. Truckee is here and you can speak with him if you wish to. If you plead not guilty, I'm gonna give you a PR bond and let you out of jail and appoint an attorney and set it for a pretrial. If you plead guilty, I'm gonna give you a PR bond and let you out of jail and set this matter for sentencing for another day because you got lots of unpaid fines and tickets. So either way, I'm gonna let you out of jail. But if you plead guilty, I will set it for sentencing. If you plead not guilty, I'll appoint an attorney and set it for a pretrial. What would you rather do?
Not guilty.
All right. Appoint an attorney, set an attorney pretrial for July 11th at 8:30. Set your bond. It was $200 cash or surety, but you turned yourself in $250 PR, and you're not to enter the Myers store, any Myers store. You got about 4 unpaid tickets, which were all for no proof of insurance. 2021, 2024, 2024, and 2025. I'm not sure what they add up to. They used to suspend your driver's license for that. But they don't anymore, but I want to get those resolved. So we'll work on that also. So no matter what happens, I want to get your old tickets paid off. Are you still living on Maple Street?
Yes.
How did you decide to go at night at the Three Rivers and turn yourself in on this?
I went this morning, that way I could still see you this morning.
All right, well, you could have just stopped in Centerville rather than going all the way to Three Rivers, but you're here now. I've given you a personal recognizance bond. I trust that you'll come in and we'll take care of this. Do you have charges pending anywhere else?
No.
Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
No.
All right, yeah, PR bond is appropriate. I will see you on July 11th. They're going to give you some paperwork with your attorney's name and number on it. I want you to call that attorney and make an appointment to discuss this with them prior to that date, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, you're good to go.
And this one centers on Mr. Richards, who pleaded not guilty to drunk driving, claiming he didn't know his blood alcohol level and wants evidence.
Good morning. Are you Joseph Tanner Richards?
Yes, sir.
You got a ticket for operating while intoxicated and ancillary civil infraction charge of improper registration plate. Operating while intoxicated, we get lots of them, 180 maybe per year. It's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Carries 6 points on your driver's license, and it requires that your license be suspended. It appears that you presently have a valid license, and you got a 625G permit, which is one of those paper licenses they give you when you get arrested for this. I can't tell from the ticket what your blood alcohol level is. Mr. Richards, my advice, and probably Mr. Stickley's as well, would be that you plead not guilty to this, and I appointed an attorney to help you set this for further proceedings. Is that agreeable to you?
Yeah.
All right. What do you do, sir?
I work at Dutchman RV. Huh?
How are they doing?
Doing all right.
A lot of places are shutting down for weeks over the 4th and working a couple of days a week. Are you guys at full speed?
Yeah.
Good for you. Are you missing work right now?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go back to work after I get out of
All
here.
right, I'm gonna let you out of here in just a minute. Show you plead not guilty. I'm going to appoint an attorney and set attorney pretrial for July 11th. We're gonna be busy that day at 8:30, so you can plan accordingly. I'm gonna have you go out to the counter. Did you get fingerprinted this morning?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go out to the counter and the clerk will give you some paperwork with your attorney's name and number on it. I want you to call the attorney and make an appointment to discuss this case with them prior to July 11th. I don't know anything much about it other than the ticket. I don't know any of the facts. I don't know what your blood alcohol level was. So we'll see. There is a lesser charge known as impaired driving, which would let you continue to drive back and forth to work. So that could be something that could be part of the discussion. Anyway, for now, you go out to the counter. The clerk will give you the information regarding the attorney and your appearance date. And then I'll see you on July 11th. You're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Now meet Mr. Browning, caught driving without a license in Michigan despite having a revoked license in Indiana. He wants to get back.
Are you Todd Jeffrey Browning?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Browning, you got a ticket for driving without a valid license, never acquired, and no proof of insurance. Let's take a look at the ticket. Thank you. Thought I lost it. Your ticket was issued at 9:12 a.m. on April 30th at US 12 and 131 in Modville Township. The city limits is in the middle of the road at 131 and US 12. So they wrote this under state statute. That's why they put the state police post there, because once upon a time, that was a major intersection. In fact, US 12 has been a major intersection for several thousand years, but they charge you with no license ever applied and no proof of insurance. So let's take a look at your driving record. You're not licensed. Doesn't show anything bad. The last gentleman, he had 2 really old drunk driving charges. And once you get 2 drunk driving charges, you get revoked. I tell people this all the time. Most of my people in sobriety court are revoked. And you have to wait at least 5 years before you can get your license back. And then 5 years turns into 10 or 20 or 15. You have to apply to get it back. And anyway, you don't have any of that baggage. Did you have a license in another state?
Yes, it was Indiana.
Okay. And what's the status there?
It's revoked,
Okay.
which I'm working on getting that back.
All right. So you're the exact opposite of this guy. He lives in Indiana. He's revoked in Michigan. You live in Michigan and you're revoked in Indiana. So let's
Yes.
talk about this a little bit. No Michigan license or baggage. Tell me what you're doing in Indiana to try to get your license back or get it cleared up.
I'll have a lawyer. He's working on it. He's gonna get my hardship license back for like a year, and then I'll work on what I gotta do here.
Well, the problem is you live in Michigan. That might complicate things.
Yeah, I might have to go back down, live in Indiana for whatever the time
All right.
period it is
So
to
who's your attorney?
Mike Yoder,
He's in LaGrange.
Elkhart.
Well, all right, what I propose to do is adjourn this a little bit, but it's gonna take more than 30 days. I'm not really supposed to adjourn these out too far, but I'm willing to go 60 days and see what you can do in the meantime. Yours is complicated. Yours is an exact upside down situation of the last guy. Anyway, you can't drive. How'd you get here?
Brother.
All right. They also probably cut you a break and charge you with no proof of insurance rather than insurance. Or no insurance. And as I said, those two things sort of go hand in hand. If you don't have insurance, if you don't have a license, you generally can't get insurance. I'm gonna set this for August 7th for a pretrial. That'll be with the county prosecutor. And so now the ball's in your court. You gotta take some further action regarding this. This isn't all that much terrible of an offense. No valid operator's license generally carries just a fine, but it will go on your driving record and further maybe make it difficult for you to get a license. So the worst thing that's gonna happen here is you're gonna get a fine. But if you can get things squared away, there's another charge the prosecutor could use, which won't jam you up on trying to get your license. So maybe it's worth waiting 60 days. Thursday, August 7th, 8:30 for a pretrial. 107, bring Indiana license information. I don't believe we've taken one plea yet, but we've kicked the can down the road on several cases. All right, Mr. Browning, you take that, put it on your refrigerator, and I'll see you on August 7th at 8:30. We'll see what kind of progress you made about getting your license back.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And here's Mr. Bowman, who drove for 20 plus years with a revoked license and no insurance, ignoring court orders.
Those big scissors. So some nice people sent me these little ones. I can't hurt myself, but good morning, Mr. Bowman.
Good morning.
Give me a minute. I don't move too fast. My
Fine.
older years. 365. Are you Leonard Allen Bauman?
Yes.
Mr. Bauman, you got a ticket. We get lots of these for driving without insurance. And in your case, driving with a suspended license. Driving without insurance has become one of our most popular offenses these days. It is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail, so it requires that you get fingerprinted. It carries a minimum fine of $200 and a maximum fine of $500 plus costs and up to a year in jail. Second, that doesn't carry any points or driving suspension, but your second count of driving suspended does. It's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Your driver's status is revoked. It's not just suspended, it's revoked. You have a lot of baggage on your driving record that goes back a long time before I was judge. You and I used to know each other when I was still a prosecutor. Anyway, your license has been revoked for 20 plus years. And it doesn't even show to me that you've even had a ticket since 2002. I don't see anything else in here. Anyway, these two things go sort of hand in hand. If your license is suspended, you can't get insurance. So let me take a look at something else. You haven't had a ticket here since 2003. So you're between the proverbial rock and the hard place. Your license is revoked. You can't drive. And you don't allegedly have any insurance. Mr. Stickley, have any thoughts on this?
Your Honor, I don't know I don't, other than him maybe meeting with the prosecutor to pre-trial and see if he took one and maybe another would go away. I don't know.
Mr. Bauman, have you done anything to see that this car has insurance now?
I tried to, I went to the license place in LaGrange, but I couldn't get nowhere. I've got to get the stuff straightened out in Michigan before I can get the insurance and plates on the
All
car.
right, well, do you live in Indiana or Michigan?
Indiana.
All right, so you're trying to get an Indiana license?
Well, I want to get an Indiana license, but I still got to take care of the stuff in there.
Well, let's assume it's not likely, but let's assume Indiana gave you a license. You could drive from Indianapolis to Evansville, but you can't drive across the state line because your privilege is revoked in Michigan. So what did Indiana tell you? You need to get your Michigan stuff in order?
Yep, get that in order and then I go back and get a Indiana.
Problem might be, Your Honor, now that everybody has electronic records and they're part of that driver's license compact, that
Yeah, if it was that easy, everybody would just go to the other state and get a new license. But the problem is your baggage follows you around.
Excuse me, I thought that after so many years that some of that baggage would be.
Well, that certainly sounds like it would make some sense, but it doesn't. Secretary of State's got a real long memory. And you and like I said, I wasn't even judge yet when all this stuff happened. You and I were both a lot younger then. And you got several drunk driving arrests, which caused your license to get revoked. And then miraculously, you haven't had a ticket in 23 years, at least not one in Michigan that shows up here. So a couple options. I don't think he's going to get his Indiana license. Maybe we could get an attorney to help him with this.
I usually wouldn't, Your Honor, but in this situation, and it might not be the worst thing in the world to have the duty attorney at least talk to him and have a brief conversation at APTs if he was willing to come back.
All right. What I'm suggesting, sir, is that we appoint a lawyer for you to give you some advice on this and set it for a pretrial when the prosecutor and the attorneys are here. So I'm going to show you're going to plead not guilty. How'd you get here?
I've got a friend out in the car that stayed out there. She's reading a book. She didn't think that she could come in here.
Oh, she's welcome. But anyway, I'm glad you didn't drive. Like I said, you haven't had a ticket in 22 2 years. If Indiana, for some reason, would give you a license, you could drive in Indiana, but not Michigan. Let me send you out with a court officer. We'll get a lawyer to assist you with this. And you don't owe me any money. Like I said, I haven't seen you in a long time, more than 20 years.
Finally, we have Miss Washington, who's back in court for driving without a license, still struggling to pay off nearly $1,000 in old fines.
Good morning, Miss Washington. You got charged with the offense, not a terribly serious one, of having no valid operator's license. No valid operator's license is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. You're also charged with disobeying a traffic control device. You also have about $800 of unpaid tickets. This is an ordinance case. You've seen a sign of Mr. George or Mr. Reed. I think hopefully they'll be here today. Do that sheet. You got a previous no valid ops from 2021 that you never paid and you owe $465. You have an unpaid speeding ticket from 2022, you owe $132. It might help your cause if you could pay off those old tickets. I saw, how old's your new baby?
1.
Yeah, nice hat on. You look like you'd rather be anywhere other than here. I've got a couple options. The one I would suggest is we adjourn this about a month and see how you can do on paying off those old tickets. You have your license now?
I just have to take the driver's
All
test.
right, all the more reason to adjourn this. But they wouldn't used to let you get a driver's license when you had unpaid tickets, which frankly I
I
agree
had to
with.
pay a fine for it.
What?
I had to pay a fine for it before I could set anything up.
She's
And I
making,
paid it.
she's indicating she's making some progress on some of the things that she
Well,
owes.
that's great. I'm very happy to hear that. How old are you now?
26.
Yeah, it's time for you to get your driver's
I know.
license. All right, good.
I don't drive though, but it was an emergency.
Let's set this out about a month. Today is Thursday. Oh, is this a Constantine case? Thursday is Constantine tickets.
It happened here in
Oh,
Centerville.
it's a Centerville ticket. Centerville ordinance is Mr. Knopfinger, David Lawz of the Constantine Police Department. I don't even know him. All right, I'm very pleased to hear that. Are you still living on 9th Street in Three Rivers?
Yes.
All right, very good. And you have to take your driver's test?
Yeah, that's all that's left. And I'm setting that up for next week.
All right. Well, good. Maybe this will come to some good conclusion. I'm gonna reset this for July 10th, 8:30 for a pretrial. Pardon my bad handwriting. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple things. I'm gonna give you something to show what you owe money on. Get out my big scissors. You got, as I said, in the old days, there were 2 things: fail to comply with judgment, which is getting a ticket and being convicted and not paying it. They called that a FCJ suspension. They would suspend your license. Another was getting a ticket and not answering it. Those are called a fail to answer citation, FAC suspension. We had lots of people that couldn't get their license until they paid off their tickets. Do that anymore, part of the criminal justice reform package. But we have a long memory around here and we want you to pay your tickets. So here's the 2 tickets that you have outstanding, as far as I can tell. Here's your notice. So go ace your driver's test and bring all that information with you. And we'll have a pretrial with the Centerville Village Attorney on July 10th. That's a Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. So I'll see you at that time.
Thank you.
All right, good luck.